ToyLeet Assembly. Step up and see flash is the ToyLeet crew. We're the kings of the game, yeah, the chosen few. From the shadows we rise with the rarest finds. Collect them, respect them, we're one of a kind. ToyLeet, reign the streets, elite with defeats in this collectible feast. ToyLeet, never the street, we're the heart of the beat, we're all playmates, me. Check our stacks, our collection supreme. Limited editions, every collector's dream. We're the myths, we're the legends, with every drop. Taking over the block, we never stop. In the alleys where the headless play. ToyLeet's the name, hear what we say. Rising, thriving, always vibing. In our realm we're always dropping. ToyLeet, bring the street, the lift ToyLeet. Setting the pace. With a snap on the case and a click of the lock. ToyLeet's on top and we're ready to rock. Collecting more than just toys. We're up. We're up. We're up. ToyLeet, now in the street, we're the heart of the beat, we're all playmates, me. We're the tree, we're the ToyLeet, what's the flow? Cause in this zone, we never admit defeat. Come for the thrill, stay for the chase. ToyLeet's in the place, set in the pace.
What's up? Man? Long time no see, brother.
It's been a minute. I wasn't here
anyway.
I wasn't here last week, was I?
No.
No.
Big shout out, thank you to Oz and Payne and Bud for jumping on to fill in for Travis. Took 3 awesome dudes to fill in for one awesome dude.
One wonderful guy.
One wonderful guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
awesome.
Wonderful.
Good deal. Yeah, no, it's been a couple weeks, and always a hassle to manage the busy work schedule and life, and kids all kicking off school and sports, and it's one thing after another, as I'm sure you can and many others can relate to. Yeah, man, I'm good. How about yourself, dude? How you doing?
If I was any better, I'd be twins.
Good deal. Yeah, man, it's been a hell of a week, right? Like a lot of stuff happening, all sorts of toxicity everywhere.
Toxicity in the toy community.
We just try to bring our, beautiful, wonderful, smiley faces.
That's right, man. We're just here for the good times.
What is it? Calmness, collectiveness, community, brotherhood. Let's just have fun, man. Let's all just have freaking fun. That's what this is about, right?
Well, if you didn't know, I'm beefing with Payne now.
I did, man. Like he's been side messaging me, and the things he's been.
That guy, man. I tell you.
He says if you say something real tough about him tonight, you might both go viral and blow up, and it would be awesome.
Well, he's ugly, and his mom dresses him funny, so that's all I got to say about that.
Oh man, I don't think I can keep you around with that kind of attitude. It's just not going to work for me. No. Obviously, all in jest, folks. All in jest. So I've got Ed Akxion Figs here with me. Yeah, I got to figure this out. It's been a couple weeks, but Ed Akxion Figs here with me tonight.
And that, did I point the right? Nope.
Broken.
We're out of practice, dude. We are out of practice. That is the Mr. Wonderful, a.k.a. Travis.
And together we're something, right?
We're the ToyLeet together, brother.
We're the ToyLeet,
the brotherhood of the ToyLeet.
The brotherhood of plastic, right? So what it comes down to is, Ed and myself, we found each other on this, in the brotherhood in the community here, enjoying ourselves on a Sunday night, probably in a hella dope stream, and then kind of bounced around from punk and Payne streams to Oz's to I think we might even slip into 3POA at times, tons of different streams we like to get on, and we connected, and what it came down to is we had the same passion for plastic, and what that is we like to talk toys and get together and chat about what kind of cool, nifty pieces of art, as I like to refer to them, we can collect today.
Yes.
And what we do every week here is we come together. For those that are new, we appreciate you guys jumping in and listening. We like to get together and we like to go through a few things. We like to talk about the news, specifically independent toy news. We don't focus on the big boys. We do play and collect those big boy toys from Hasbro and Mattel and things like that. So it's not about shitting on them or any of that kind of thing. It's really just like they get enough limelight for their own thing. And you got Punk with Toys, right? You got guys like him. You got Unboxing Art, and there's a ton of other people out there. If I'm not naming you, I do apologize. And they do a great job, promoting that stuff and discussing that news. But we like to try to dive in and focus on the more independent toy news. And as what we refer to as toy adjacent things. It could be a comic, could be something else we'll talk a little bit about tonight. But yeah, we do that. And Ed, there's that thing that you like to talk about every week. Carry on from when you were doing the show with your son. If you want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, we like to do the shout out from the crick, where we, shout out one of the dudes in the Brotherhood that's, one of the good guys, and some or girls, ladies, men, whatever you want to identify as. We just like to shout them out and point people to their direction so they can get some more, some more followers, more subs, whatever it is.
Yeah. Sorry about that little jump in the technology there. I was trying to get the slide deck up there for later. But yeah, we talk about the shout out from the crick, champion some folks in the community, and then we also do this thing called ToyLeet or ToyLeet, which is where we decide whether one of our pieces of plastic is going to require a call to Mario and Luigi to see if they can come clean out the toilet, plumbing and whatnot, or if that figure is going to go up on one of our shelves. And whether it stands the test of time, and they did a good job on it. So we do like to do that. And then we always have a main topic. What is the main topic? Well, it's not spending 4 hours trying to get you to that. It's a quick and dirty, hour or so when we get in and we talk about something that a little different, right? We try not to do it all the same. We try to talk about things that are relevant. Sometimes it's, time of the year. We did the Joe Fest one earlier this year.
That's right.
We do things like if there's conventions coming up, we've done things where we talk about how you can, do things, whether it be a vendor or an attendee at a convention. And additionally, tonight specifically, we'll be talking about, does size matter? The best scale, right? Come on, guys. This is not your OnlyFans. This is ToyLeet over on YouTube. And we will just talk about, does the size matter in your action figure? And for a number of reasons. And then we'll kind of shout out and chat with you guys in the chat the whole time. Speaking of the chat, Ed, is there anything that you want to pull up real quick before we?
Sure. My beautiful internet daughter is here, Kayla Silver K. Thanks for stopping in. She says yes, size does matter. I'm not sure if she's talking plastic or the OnlyFans side, but you never know with this one here. She's a wild one.
I mean, that's what she said, and that one's for you.
That's why we love her. And we got the man himself, the one and only Ostradamus Toys. What's up, Oz? And we are officially ToyTube royalty. Now that no one is in the house, he says hi to you and me in the chat. And we got the one and only, the man himself, Roll Keeper, who was fourth in line today. Usually he likes to jump in first, but
we bumped it out 15 minutes this week to do a 9:15 start. Give us a little extra time.
We've been starting all over the place. We're just trying to keep everybody, guessing, right? One of these guys going live. We don't know.
But are they going to go live? Maybe
that's right. Consistently inconsistent, man. That's our game now.
That's the motto.
How's that C4?
I've been run down the last few days, so that's been giving me the energy. And I also recently am attempting a specific diet, the carnivore diet. So I'm not eating anything that's not just meat. I have to tell you, this morning's breakfast consisted of 3 fried eggs, cooked in butter, a bunch of pieces of bacon, cooked in the butter that the eggs were cooked in. And then when I was done cooking the bacon, I took that out and I threw a bunch of steak tips in there. And it was a full plate of it. And then I fasted for the rest of the day until dinner.
Nice.
And then for dinner, I just had some steak. And I got to tell you, I love meat.
Yeah.
Cut that one, boys. Cut that one.
Yep, I already got the time cut for that. Oz is whipping up the short for us as we speak on the backside.
Awesome.
Awesome. I was just wondering because I bought Luke a C4 Skittle flavor today, so I got some bizarre flavors of the old. Got popsicle and all sorts of crazy stuff. But anyway, back to the chat. Sorry,
my favorite's the orange high C. My favorite.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. I loved orange high C.
That's a good one.
Never a fan of the fruit punch, but the orange was good.
Yeah, go ahead to that chat though.
All right. Yeah, Christine Mendoza is with us here. Hi, Christine. How are you today? And just popped this up real quick. Speaking of kids and sports, my youngest started grade 7 this year and joined the football team. Proud dad. Congratulations, Nolan. That's some good stuff.
Congratulations. I got a youngest in 7th grade myself, so I can appreciate that.
And Ronnie Trickshot's here. He's here for the fun. Let's bring it. We always bring the fun. And then there's this guy.
Hold on. What guy?
This guy.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
I love this guy. Instead of waiting for you to go live, I just came late. Yeah,
hey, it's earlier. It's better than coming early.
That's right. That's also what she said. And Briscoe. What's up, Briscoe? And no, we got another couple people in here. What's he say? I spend 3 hours getting to the topic. Yeah, 3 hours of nothing but ramble nonsense to get to the topic.
My 97-year-old great grandfather used to ramble less than you.
Yeah. And Oz says he pretends to know what he's doing for 5 to 6 hours on a Saturday. Yep. And Ronnie Trickshot says size matters to the Mrs. Trickshot, which is important. And we got the Brickster in with us.
Hey, Brick. Thank you for joining.
Yes, Silver K was in the ToyLeet chat. That's what's up. What's up, Brickster? And yes, here comes the money. He says hit that like button. Thank you, punk. And the beautiful Cobweb is here with us. Travis cooks and eats like me. Ain't nothing wrong with that. They say there's a lot of good stuff in just an all meat diet. So
yeah, they say you can get, if you eat head to tail, you can get all the nutrition you need. So I'm trying to get rid of some inflammation and some extra body weight here. So we'll see where we can get.
And name we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, DJ 5000. What's up, man? And Clint Jorgensen is with us. Order Mondo Spider-Man today. Love 1/6 scale. Yeah, Mondos are nice.
We talking that,
man. And we got Action Joe Figs. What's up, Action Joe?
What's up, babe?
Good to see you here. And I think, yep, that is all for the chat at this point in time.
Cool, man. So I didn't get anything new. I mean, I got one thing new. We'll talk about that in a minute. But did you get anything cool recently?
I did get one really cool thing. I picked up my first plunderling.
Ooh, I have that one, and I like those plunderlings. They're weird. I was literally on that site we don't talk about because the site we do talk about, Hello Dope Toys, they unfortunately, they don't clear plunderlings yet. Hopefully at some point they will. But the other site that I had to check out had them on clearance and some discounts. And I was looking at, I have some plunder. What is it?
You got plunder longs, right?
I have the plunderlings, which are the shortest ones.
Right.
I have that one and a couple other ones. There's an orange guy, and I think I might have a green one. There's a white one on clearance I'm thinking about snagging. And then the other, that's what I'm doing, Punk. I'm doing the fasting for 16 hours a day. So we'll see how that goes. I might push it to 20. My brother-in-law has been pushing me on that one.
Check this out, brother.
That's motivating for sure. That's motivating. I did it for a few different days, and I look at that guy. I like that guy. We got some stuff to talk about that guy later.
John the Man's here with us. Thank you, John, for stopping in.
Yeah. So and then they have the plunder talls. I don't have, or plunder longs, I think is what they're called. You have plunder strong. I have some of those, but I don't have any of the plunder longs, and I want to get a couple of those just because the different scales, the different sizes.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the plunder strongs. They just don't have that like the funness that the plunder longs and the plunderlings actually.
Yeah, the bulkiness takes away from them a little bit for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
But I mean they're cool looking, but they're just not. They don't have that. Like I said, they don't have that cute kind of fun aspect to them because they're just honking big things.
100%.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with him, dude. I mean, like he's so much fun. I got some pictures coming of a dio I built for him, so I'll give you a sneak peek after the show's over, dude.
Good deal. Yeah, we'll talk about that on on the after.
And real quick, one more new person stopped in, and then we'll move on with the rest of the show. Henri, you, what's up,
Thank
brother?
you. Awesome.
Whoops, and
Cool.
let me pop this up. Yeah, that's how we kind of. I mean, I was a 1/6 guy for a long time, man, but do 1/12 not just because it's more.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about why we do what
Yeah.
we do, right? Yeah. Just tune in, stick around for the topic. Don't just
stick around. We won't take 3 hours to get there either. We're going to get to our topic in probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, give or take 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So I do have something I want to talk about.
Talk it up, man. Talk it up.
You ready?
God, if you have a weak stomach, you may stop right here. Anybody hungry?
I don't know why, but that toilet scene always makes me thirsty.
Oh man, yeah, no, not at all. That's a real toilet, obviously, and it's actually footage I shot at. I can't an undisclosed location. I can't mention where it was because it was kind of awkward. I was like, if somebody sees me doing this is gonna be weird. So, but I went ahead and did it anyways. So this week on the ToyLeet or ToyLeet, I have this figure here, the $1 Million Man. Believe it or not, it's a wrestling action figure. So I have this
believe that
$1
you
Million
bought
Man
another
figure.
wrestling figure.
Yeah, it was on like clearance or something, so I ended up snagging it at the store a while back. I just opened it and I wanted to speak to it. So, like, for me, I'm not quite sure. Like, I try to stick to the ultimates. I mean, it's a standard elite figure. There's just some things like there's like a flap here on the chest. It's hard to see because of the white. Let me try to get in close here. There's like a flap on the chest here that just seems cheesy, like it shouldn't have been there. He comes with the belt. I mean, it's got the realistic, it's marked to what he was back when he was wrestling. Specifically, I can't remember the time frame in which this one came from. They did fine. He's got this, the wide face. They also included what I thought was cool was more standard head, and this is more from like the 2000s period when he was like with the NWO and maybe even as a road agent, and they came with some glasses and then extra set of hands. I got it on clearance mainly because I didn't have him and I wanted to get him for the shelf. I won't say
make an elite figure of him.
This is the elite. They don't make an ultimate one.
Ultimate, yeah.
I don't think they have an ultimate. I'd have to double check. I don't have it yet. If they do, and if they do, typically their ultimates would likely have him in more of the black trunks and stuff.
Right.
So he wouldn't have the suit, which was big for that period of time when he was in all his promos and stuff. So I won't. It's not getting a flush, but it's not like top shelf.
It's a floater.
Yeah, it's a floater. So I'm just
floater.
It is what it is. Like I'm not going to complain a ton about it, but I'm not like, ooh, I'm happy I bought that one. I kind of feel like, man, maybe I should have waited for something better.
At least you got it on clearance.
Yeah. So
we got that echo back, brother.
Oh, I do?
Yeah. So your mic is picking up whatever's coming out of your speakers.
Give me a second.
That sounds great.
Hold on a second.
Something's taking over.
How about
now? Can you hear an echo? Nope. We're good.
Hold on. I can't.
You sound like you're underwater.
Sorry, I switched the wrong things.
We're really professional here, folks. We do this every week, just this unprofessionally.
How about now? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great, and I don't hear an echo, so we're golden.
Yeah, cool. Good deal. Sorry about that. Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah. So then
we just want to put on the best show for our fans.
Right. Right. Want to make sure that nobody's being ignored or hearing my echo over and over again. My voice is already too intense, right? So there's that.
Yeah, you weren't echoing. I was coming through for you, through on your side, though.
Gotcha. Oh, it was your voice. Then we can echo mine. That's fine.
Yeah, yours is, you got that golden, smooth, melodic voice.
Good deal. So, this week's main topic is does size matter? And we're back because we got audio and we also got
And in the world of toys, there's a question at hand. Is bigger, better, or smaller grand? From towering ones, 6 giants tall, to sleek ones ready for all. 118's got detailed type, but can it shine in the collector's line? Hot toys flex with all the flair. Marvel legends ruling everywhere. Tiny toes with a mighty roar. Which scale is winning this collector's war? Is it the detail, or is it the size? Does articulation win the prize in every pose? In every scene, which scale's the one? The ultimate dream, so grab your figures, pick your side. In ToyLeet's world, where legends collide, who takes the crown? Who tops the game? Like, subscribe, and share the name. Tune in now, the battle's begun. On ToyLeet Takeover, let's see who's won. Hot toys flex with all the flair. Marvel legends ruling everywhere. Tiny toes with a mighty roar. Which scale is winning this collector's war? Is it the detail or is it the size? Does articulation win the prize? In every pose, in every scene, which scale's the one? The ultimate dream. So grab your figures, pick your side. In ToyLeet's world, where legends collide, who takes the crown? Who tops the game? Like, subscribe, and share the name. Tune in now, the battle's begun. On ToyLeet Takeover, let's see who's won.
So I know who some of those pictures are from,
What do you mean?
but some of those are really, really good.
Yeah, some of those were really good pictures.
Yeah.
Some of them were directly from Super 7. So trying to find some 1/12, some 118 pictures. I didn't have any in the folder, so that's what we got. So yeah, this week we'll be talking, does size matter? And as some people have already posted in the chat, it absolutely does. And that was one of the females in the group. So that right there says a ton, guys. Get your plastic out and figure out what size you need. So the next piece is our usual stop here.
Down by the creek where the water flows, we're shouting out to those who know. Spreading joy, sharing love, ToyLeet fam, you rise above. Shout out from the creek, you're the best. Hype up the heroes who passed the test. Community stars shining bright. Lifting each other, it feels so right.
I just like the songs. I know Matthew over here busting our stones about our rock concert.
Let's look at this guy.
This guy
this guy that'll give you a 20-minute long definition of one word so that he's smarter than everybody.
This guy over here busting stones. And speaking of concerts, I went and saw Korn on Saturday night out in eastern Massachusetts with my oldest, and that was awesome. But you guys, I mean, the vibe from this music, it just makes me feel good. So yeah.
I saw
shout out from the crick
back when they were first starting, and they played a concert at a college gymnasium with dancing and Marilyn Manson, dude. That would have been so a mosh pit that was.
Yeah, I'm too old for that. I was sitting in seats this time in pouring rain, but
yeah.
Speaking of
let me get rid of that comment. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I forgot to remove the damn comment. This is how professional we are. Wait a minute. Matthew has something else he wants to say.
Listen, Matthew, could be shorter. They could be the size of Punk, but then nobody would see them. Hear them.
Everybody would look right over top of them.
Right. We love you, Punk.
Awesome. So shout out from the crick this week goes to the myth, the man, the legend himself, Eldor, Master Versatile Toy Hunter. He is that name on YouTube and Instagram. He's been doing some really cool builds for some Castle Grayskulls and Snake Mountain and things like that. Just doing some amazing stuff. But he's a talented MFer, man. I'll tell you, the guy's builds his own mask and puppets and all sorts of stuff. And back when Luke and I did this show, he actually came on and did the Dark Crystal show with us and brought his Lord Chamberlain as a guest. So pretty cool.
I do recall that I was working in the dungeon while listening to you guys on that show. That stream.
Yeah.
I remember
So
that.
yeah, if you guys haven't been following, I know most of you already follow Master Russell Toy Hunter, but show him some love, man. The guy has some serious talent. He deserves it.
He puts in work, and he's a good member of the community.
Oh yeah.
He's always supporting folks, championing them, and reaching out. So
oh yeah, always sharing another reason. Stuff and yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So one to you, Eldor. Okay, that brings us.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
So we got the weekly news. Again, we focus on the independent toy lines. So let's go through. And I'm so clean about this just because it makes it easier to do my stuff. It's all in alphabetical order, as close as I could figure it out to be. So Animal Warriors of the Kingdom was up first, not because of preferential treatment.
Sure.
I love Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and it also happens to be the creator's birthday today. So give him a champion.
Oh, happy birthday, Jason!
He brought us that. So yeah, I think it's today. It was either today or yesterday, one of the two, but I think it was today.
Either way, happy birthday, Jason!
The days all kind of meshed together.
We're happy.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of updates. Spiro presented some images of, and why can I not think of the name? I know Brick's in the chat, so drop the name in there. So much stuff going on. I forgot what the name of it was, but they showed these characters here. And then one of the other things is, more importantly, is that they kind of announced in Scathing. Thank you, Brick. Just a couple minutes, couple seconds behind. So yeah, Scathing here. You can see some cool imagery. Great artists working on this necromancer character. But even cooler that came out in the updates. I think this was last Wednesday's update, so there'll likely be another update tomorrow. We're like a week behind because we come out a day before. But they will have an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom reveal at Jolanta. I think that's the weekend I think that's this weekend, the 28th or whatever. So keep your eyes out for whatever that is. I'm sure it's going to be cool. Very, very excited for seeing what the announcement is coming up. From there, I'm going to jump over and cut me off at any time, Ed, if you want to add any context to the news and maybe things you've picked up on or seen. The next one is this one. So Brutal Realm, obviously the Kickstarter, we followed it. Some of us went all in and some of us went crazy stupid on it and are looking forward to getting every single one of those.
Who would that be?
I don't know. I'm not even sure.
I don't know. Some guy.
Yes, some guy. They showed some updated renderings of the Monkey King, which I originally didn't really want these. Now I kind of do because it looks way better than what I had previously seen.
Mm-hmm.
So a little disappointed I didn't back these ones with the beasts and stuff because I didn't back the Black Panther, the Monkey King, or the there was another one there I can't remember. The Wolf, yeah. So I kind of stuck away from those. Maybe I'm not using the right name, but whatever this thing's going to be called.
Aren't they called like their primal things or something?
Yeah, it's the primal. I think it's their primal characters.
Yeah.
So some updates from there. I'm sure we'll be continuing to see more. They're actually very active in their updates. So definitely want, if you're following that, keep up on it. They're on Instagram posting all the time. The next one is from Creative Beast Studios. And some imagery that I saw over the last couple weeks that I was bookmarking to share here. And one is this dragon character, and I think that is a 1/18 scale figure.
Yep.
But it's painted so beautifully. They just need to scale it up. No bias here, no bias. But if that was scaled up,
talking
it might
about
be
scaling
something
a little bit
at.
here. So let's just keep.
Yeah. And then you have the packaging with a Smilodon, and I know you're really excited for that one right there. That 1/12th, essentially a saber tooth.
I'm all for
so clean, man. Looks so clean. So very excited for that. But yeah, we saw some in package.
Too.
Oh yeah. If I was an inbox collector, that would look cool that way, but I am absolutely not. And that thing was meant to breathe. So it'll be coming out of that box.
That thing will be down at the creek getting in the mud for sure, dude.
Absolutely. The next news bite is the Dragon Kingdoms. So speaking of scales outside of the 1/12 stuff, Dragon Kingdoms is a Kickstarter that we were following. It's that 1/18 scale. It's more mythic, fantasy style characters. This was screen capped yesterday, so I'm not sure what the exact number is right now, but it's probably somewhere around that 11,000 mark. They had almost 60 backers, and they have about 4 days left to go. They're only 10% of the way there, a little over 10%. I highly doubt this is gonna fund.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, hopefully they go back to the drawing board. Sometimes that's the best thing that can happen. And
They were looking for like right around $100,000 or something total, right?
yeah, but sometimes, failing the first time, is actually a good thing because it gives you the opportunity to sit back and figure out how you want to improve. One of the big things that you and I talked about, Ed, was didn't see a lot of promotion on this.
Right.
There are a lot of community members that have streams like ourselves, and you got Brick, and you got a lot of folks out there.
Yes.
But I haven't seen them on a ton of streams myself that I follow.
I think the other thing they could possibly do is give it a little more diversity. And I realize that this is the dwarves, right? But
yeah,
they don't have like a distinctive, set of bad guys or, a dragon for them to fight or something that, it's just a bunch of dwarves, right? So,
yes.
And I realize that this is part of a larger thing because this is supposed to be the beards of Dragon Kingdom. And I'm assuming that
exactly
they're going to grow bigger. But for a Kickstarter, people want to have that lore, that diversity, and, kind of like really Brutal Realm, right? They were kind of dragging slow. Then they announced that the villain dude, and it was like, it just blew up.
Well, an example is that, when you're going to come out, and my thought is a Savage Crucible, right? They went you've got your Lemurians, you've got your humans, and then you have your fish people or whatever they're called, right? But they did it where it was a complete package of a Kickstarter, so you could fully see all of these, come to fruition. So where this Kickstarter really focused in on this one subset, they might have benefited from exposing their other characters and potentially opening that up, and then going with kind of announcing.
Yeah, even if they weren't offered in the first Kickstarter, right? They haven't really showed what else is out.
They had some stuff, but not a great. Again,
then
back to the drawing board,
thing, right? It's promotion. It's promotion.
Yeah,
really. These guys did not. They did promotion on their Instagram and maybe on their own YouTube channel, but I didn't hear anything about it other than following.
I think I saw them on one other stream, and that was it. But again, drawing board, come back harder, stronger, and see what happens. I think there's a market for it. We talked about the market for this type of stuff here shortly, but unfortunately, this one I do not think is going to fund. Maybe I'm wrong. The next one is for Horsemen, and it's two pieces of news on here that I want to call out. Obviously there's the figure Obscura, and I didn't add anything here, but I did see that the figure Obscura, the Frankenstein character there, he did sell out, right? But the thing was, I did see somebody asking in a chat that Jeremy Gerard had responded to, and he actually implied on Facebook that they're trying to do something else. So it's potentially maybe that we'll see this come out again sooner, or maybe I missed something, but I know that they're trying, to do that. And they'll likely have the retail exclusive release later, right? Like they've been doing with Red Death and all that.
Yeah, we're
stuff,
guessing
right?
he's probably going to come out, Frankenstein's creatures, traditionally like a green color. The collector's pin that came with the all-in for the figure Obscura had Frankenstein as a green color on the pin. So I'm guessing the retailer exclusive will be, a green color.
More traditional.
Frankenstein, more traditional color.
Makes sense.
Which will be awesome.
Yeah, makes sense.
I ordered them. I know Oz and Brick and several others in the chat right now. Joe G all ordered them. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, they'll have a small amount from the con stock available.
Yeah.
Okay, so sounds like they're going to pull some from the con to make available, so that's cool. Then there was additionally this news, and this was yesterday, I think it was, 25 years ago on yesterday, the 23rd, right? They officially created the Four Horsemen Studios, which I thought was really cool. I love how they posted this. I also saw somebody mention in a chat in response to this, oh, are you coming out with new mouse pads? And they're like, maybe. So for those that like the imagery there might be additional mouse pads coming at some point. But this was cool for me to see as a creator on his own. It definitely was like, damn, man, like that's motivating, to know what they came from to where they are today and see how they're on the brink of not being an independent toy line, right? I mean, I know they are, and they have their own approach to the marketing, and I give them so much credit.
They're still considered an independent toy line, but they're kind of following that line like with Valiverse, right? They've gotten big enough now where they're technically not like a new independent toy line, right? They're not an indie toy line.
there's the main players, you know, your Hasbro, your Mattels, and all that stuff, Jada and everything like that, right? And then you have like that not quite independent, but not quite, you know, you don't have stockholders, right? You just got yourself, right? You don't have to report to anybody, so you can still, you know, you can still appease the customer a lot more effectively.
Yeah.
And then you have your independent toy lines, your Spiros, your Savage, you know, those things.
Right.
So for sure, yeah. So this was cool to see. And then they also posted this, which was really cool. I'm not going to tell you guys where you can get this because I don't want to. No, I'm kidding. You know, unfortunately, you know, it's the other toys, right? So the Big Bad Toy Store is celebrating their 25th anniversary, from what I understood. And it coincides at the same time that the Four Horsemen are also celebrating theirs. So as a result, they've come up with an exclusive, and you can get this $80 Stavos character. Stands 9 inches tall. You know, it's basically, you know, a gray badass looking version of the other two characters that I have in my basement. One's a cosmic and one's a mythic, I think, or maybe they're both cosmics. Yeah,
I think one's cosmic, one's a mythic. They're kind of like a dragon man type character.
Ogre so it looks really cool. I love the cloth fabric, and I love the red against that, like that burnt charcoal looking color. So
the color they painted his skin is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's really, really cool. That's really, really cool. So yeah, quick updates from those guys. I'm actually gonna pass the update mic over to you real quick on this one, but it's Fresh Monkey Fiction. Ed, so this is you.
I just wanted to talk about the fact that I know a lot of us got another round of emails for delays for the Monster Force, but those ones are basically for wave 1.5 or wave 2, whatever they're calling their assortments. But the figures that like Robo reviewed, and I think I know MCU Collector did some reviews on Instagram, and Wade from Unparalleled Universe did some reviews. Those figures are all still coming in October. So you're getting, you know, Van Helsing and Dracula and the Forgotten King and a couple of the army builders from both sides, the Sleepwalkers and all that stuff, still in October. The next set of figures will be out in early next year. So
to simplify this, all that panic and stress folks were having that I saw in like the different Facebook groups and stuff is there is a delay to Monster Force, but it's not wave 1. It's a delay to wave 2, which just pushed it out, which I guess you could assume it was to be expected since wave 1 was pushed out.
Right.
So it's not really that, it's not that much of a surprise. And that for those that aren't, you know, haven't pre-ordered Monster Force and want to get into that wave 1, that's still on target for this year.
And Fresh Monkey Fiction also has their Naughty or Nice line, right? Naughty or Nice line, the next wave that's due to hit, you know, that Big Bad place sometime in November or December around Christmas time. So I don't know if they just pushed Monster Force out to get them finished, you know, into line.
Oh, because the Christmas holidays and stuff, right?
Because you don't want to, you know, release a Santa Claus figure in you know, March, right?
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, the first, I think it's 8 figures will be out in October, 6 or 8, one of those two.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Awesome. Good deal.
So we have a ton of shit in the chat, bro. So you want to go through the chat, or we still got a little bit of news left?
I still got a little bit of news left.
All right, let's finish the news and that will get up.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So the next one here, just a quick update. It's really just a screenshot. The Book of Jacob Kane. Again, we talk about toys, but we also talk about toy adjacent. This is 2 people directly in the community. It's Kato and Quentin Bedwell. Quentin Bedwell, you might know him from the Hella Dope Show. He's done a bunch of artwork there. I think he's done some artwork on the Valaverse. He's a talented artist. They're working on a graphic novel comic together. Very interested. And they posted a recent image online, the Book of Jacob Kane. And I believe this character is actually one of the villains that Jacob Kane will be, you know, opposing. So thought it was cool and just wanted to bring it to the forefront and continue to keep our eye on it. I'm not sure how they're going to present this media, whether it's digital or print, or if there's going to be Kickstarter or something like that. But looking forward to seeing it continue to progress. Awesome. The next one here is, again, another independent toy line. Surprise, surprise. The Monsters line. It's a Kickstarter. that's been out there. I was following this a little bit before the Kickstarter went live. This number is a little outdated because it was yesterday when I was grabbing some stuff. I had some time. They're at 102, probably a little bit higher than that right now, but they've got about 2 weeks or so left to go. They look on track to hit the first milestone of 120,000, so that they should be able to produce this. I know you expressed some interest in these, right, Ed? There's a character you thought was kind of cool.
Saturday morning, Brick and myself and Oz and Payne and Joe G all did a little pre-figure obscure release party on Oz's channel, a little clubhouse cafe, and we kind of talked about the Monsters there. I think we talked about the Monsters last Tuesday on our show, actually. And yeah, they got some cool looking characters, especially like if you're a Motu or a TMNT collector. I mean, they kind of fit right into that realm really good. They're kind of like fish, bug, mammal combinations. Like that guy in the front there is called Bull Shark. He's got like bull legs and a shark head, so he's kind of like a. But the one that I really like is the Universal Monster mashup. I don't remember what they're calling it, but it's got like legs of a werewolf, vampire teeth, mummy wraps, and Creature of the Black Lagoon arms, and a bunch of other characters all mixed together, mashed up. So
yeah, I'd have to look through that a little bit more to find that one, but I've seen that there's a few different characters there.
Yeah, and
they definitely I just went and checked the Kickstarter real quick while you were talking to that, and they're only about $400 more from where they were last time. Yeah. So again, 15 days to go. They've got about, let's just say for easy numbers, 17,000 left to hit.
This is one of those that are probably like right at the very end crank up, 10, 15, 100,000, depending on how crazy people get.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is on target for hitting, because there's always that back end swarm, and I don't know. Do you know if this one's available on the Big Bad site? Because I know Big Bad's been getting behind a lot of these independent toys.
I believe I saw these on Big Bad, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so those numbers may or may not be already included. So it'll be interesting to see over the next 2 weeks. We'll keep you guys updated. Jumping into the next one. This is a little less toy like manufacturer news. This is a screenshot from the Museum of Play, which is believe it or not, it's kind of like a halfway point between myself and Ed. Definitely a place that I think Ed and I both kind of close to home, and has some cool things going on. So we just wanted to update folks that happen to travel out this way. They have the
it's in Rochester, New York.
Yep. So it's the Museum of Play, or the Strong Museum is I think what it's more publicly known as. It's a really cool thing to take your younger kids to, but even some of your older kids, because they have the whole section around the National Toy Hall of Fame, and this year they have some of the finalists, which include RC vehicles, Transformers, Hobby Horse, some Pokemon, Apples to Apples, My Little Pony, Phase 10, as you can see in the image on the left. And then what I thought was really cool and what's been catching my attention is on the right, they're actually doing a what do you call it? The display, but they're doing like a section for Dungeons and Dragons. And they're doing they kind of did this complete build out for the Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot, which I thought was really cool. A lot of folks in this toy community are tied to that and find it interesting.
I know there's not much to do, like, reasons to come out to Western New York area, right? Central New York. But if you're ever in that area and you have younger kids, like there's the whole bottom is, it's got like museums, little like glass cases for displaying stuff all over the place, as but there's all sorts of interactive stuff. They have a small grocery store with small shopping carts that kids can go and pretend to, shop at and cash people out at. And they have a whole Sesame Street set up, playhouses, Berenstain Bears, all sorts of cool stuff there. And then upstairs they have like an actual Toy Hall of Fame museum. So
they also have a zip line and kind of one of those like rock wall type, like the whole zip line kind of like,
do they still have the butterfly? The butterfly.
Yep. They have that outside and across the way there.
Yeah.
And then they have like on the third floor, maybe they have kind of like a whole section where you have like the history of video games, and they have all sorts of different game activities that you can play there. And it's really, really cool. Cool setup. So if you're ever in the area, like Ed was saying, and I just want to bring attention to it because, one day I hope to have my name on the walls of the Hall of Fame there, somehow, some way, they have some really
even
cool
if
stuff.
We have to write it down with a marker sometime when we visit.
Yeah, we'll get in there and we'll just scribble that shit in, whatever. Yeah. The next thing here is the 9 to 5 Warriors. I just picked this up on here today. I've been following these guys for about a year or so. They did a Kickstarter in the past, but they're about to launch their Series 2 Kickstarter. Never a fan of the idea of a company starting up using Kickstarter and then trying to use it again. If they did things the way that they should have, but I also recognize it's a very niche, toy line that kind of like ties into some of those people who grew up in the 80s when you'd get your Happy Meals and you'd get the Happy Meal characters that transformed into kind of people or, things like that. And, it just reminds me of a lot of that stuff where you had your food that converted and stuff. So I'm excited to see this. I'm curious to see what it's going to include, but it's going to be launching soon. So I think next week. So we'll keep that on our radar. And keep you guys updated. But they've already released their first series, which I know there's a ton of folks that like that stuff. The gimmicky kind of.
These are the fun little,
stuff.
Things just to collect. Easy to collect.
I think I might grab some just to put at my office on my work desk, just because they perfectly align for a work setup. So that's what I'll be focusing on. I'm a little late to the game on them, but I definitely think I'll grab a few. And I think one of the last couple news items here is Valaverse, just a quick item here. I think they're going to be down at Joe Lanta this week. They're actually bringing 8 of their limited edition pink Vanguards. So they'll have 8 of those in hand with them when they're down in Georgia. And I think that's this weekend, if I have my dates correct. So you can come by and figure out how to have the opportunity to purchase one. So that's all I have from them right now. I know they've been posting some images the last couple of weeks, but I figured I'd just focus on this one for now. And then we also have a new, company icon on here, Wandering Planet Toys. This was also a Kickstarter. This one recently funded. It's that Laurel and Hardy collectible action figures, the 1/12. They had a very low goal for it, so I was really surprised at how low it was. It's only 40,000 to get these 1/12. Seem like decent sculpts and stuff. So I don't follow this. I don't know. Do you have anything to add here? I didn't really pay attention to it.
I think they already had the figures getting produced. Because I've heard about these figures maybe a year ago. So I think the $40,000 Kickstarter was just to get some presents,
pre-orders.
Pre-orders and things like that. And I know there's a lot of like for them because Laurel and Hardy was they were part of American pop culture. I mean, one of my favorite Laurel and Hardy's has one of my favorite Christmas specials. It's Babes and Laurel and Hardy and the Babes in Toyland, where they are in
nice
the Toyland with Mother Goose and all that stuff, and they have to stop the crooked man from destroying all the fun.
Gotcha. Good deal. So it's already been backed. They still got 23 days to go. I don't know the stretch goals too much, but we'll keep you guys on track for this. I'll do a little bit more research on it between now and next week. So
I believe they're coming out with a black and white version because that's most of Laurel and Hardy's movies were originally in black and white till they remastered them in color and stuff like that. So
awesome, cool.
And Nolan is a huge fan of them, as he's pointed out
good deal.
Several shows that I've been on that he's really liking those figures. So.
Good deal. Bringing back the Jiu-Jitsu Fighters Kickstarter. If you guys recall, a few months ago, they were running a Kickstarter trying to get a toy line produced. It didn't successfully complete. I'm sure there was a couple of reasons why, but they come back with a Kickstarter with a focus on the graphic novel, which, as you guys know, I'm a huge lore fan. So I haven't backed it yet. There's about 7 to 8 days left to go. They already hit their goal for producing the comic book. So they, had a very low market for this, 1,500. But what's interesting, if you dig into their Kickstarter a little bit more, this is a 28-page action-packed comic that blends, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, and the whole anthropomorphic characters into it. And that, one of the, they also have a variant cover that was, I believe it was done by one of the renowned artists from Four Horsemen Studios. So there's some tie in there. And then if you dig a little bit deeper, they actually have a website and they're actually already selling some of their action figures. So intriguing. The Kickstarter didn't fund, yet the toys were produced. I know that they had at San Diego Comic-Con, they had some stuff available.
Yeah.
And then now on their website, there's some stuff available too. So interesting to see it still come to fruition. That's it for the news. We got the main topic here, but before we jump into that, if you want to hit up the chat real quick. I know
we got quite a few, so let's bust through it. So Rolando Flores, what's up, Rolando? He says, what's up? And Matthew Matson, he says, boo, I have to start my show by the time you guys get to the topic. Yes, Matthew
sorry.
will be on with Pop Blender on Pop Blender's channel over there doing their pop culture show. I think I can't remember what they're talking about tonight, but they have a really good show. So after you're done with this, go over there and give them a holler and give them a like and, do all the fun stuff that YouTube likes. And Ryu says that's a clean toilet.
That's because only
And
plastic
Briscoe
goes
says
down.
he'll give me $10 if I drink out of it. Well, Ryu says it's a very clean toilet, so it's probably drinkable. And Clint Jorgensen says, I think that's a sweet figure, but I like the black suit better. I don't remember what figure he's talking about now because it's been so long, but hey, it is what it is. And Jeff from Skunkworks is here. What's up, Jeff? I don't know if you're still here or not. Ronnie Trickshot says it's not unprofessional or shit. It is rustic and eclectic. Thank you. Someone that appreciates it. And Joe G's here. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
And Brick says that Memory Toys bear that's in our opening video doesn't get enough love. I agree 100%. I love that thing. Clint Jorgensen says Brick is playing the bass in your band, which yes, Brick is playing the bass in our band.
Yes.
And speaking of the toilet, Briscoe says, remember when the $1 Million Man asked the little kid if he could dribble the basketball 10 times in a row and he gave him $100 and the kid was on the 9th and he knocked out. Yeah, that was some awesome stuff, man. DiBiase was brutal back in the day, man.
Shoving money in people's mouths. Yeah. Oh, I loved him.
Yeah. And we got Mr. Ted Darklaw here, the co-owner of the Hella Dope Toys.
Keep going, brother.
Any toys from Hella Dope? Go over there and give Hella Dope some love, man. They got some great stuff. They treat you good. They take care of you. They, ship in one business day. And, you get your stuff all pretty wrapped up and Ted kisses and licks every single package. Mr. Payne's Toy Samples here. My beef. I don't know why this guy showed up. I don't like this guy. He's ugly and his mom dresses him funny. I already said this.
Well, dude, I kicked you off last time. We got to do that.
And he's obviously doing some customs work as he's listening in. Thanks, Payne. What's going on, brother?
Sure.
And we got to keep going because we got a lot more. And Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. Hello, Will. What's happening, brother? And Plastic Skulls. What's going on, man? And Ostradamus says, one of the most beautiful creative minds and all-around amazing people on the planet. A big shout-out for Elder. Absolutely. One of the greatest there is.
Echo that for sure.
And Harry O, who I don't think I've seen in a long time, if at all. He's all in on the creature. Yeah, that Frankenstein's creature was amazeballs.
It just hit me. That black suit comment, I'm like 90% sure they were talking about $1 Million Man when he was in the black suit.
Oh, in the black suit.
That's what they're talking about, which I agree. Way better. Yep.
And Harry O says the only monster force that he's ordered is Dr. Caligari. So he has another bad guy for Doc Nocturnal. Yeah, that's a good villain for Doc Nocturnal, actually. And Brick says, this is one of the few exceptions to my scale concerns. Grabbed one because the designs and sculpts are fantastic. Not sure which line he's talking about. What else did we talk about in there?
That was 10 minutes ago. My guess is that's the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, he collects Four Horsemen stuff. So. It's not the beard, so I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Monsters.
Oh, maybe.
Because they're not in that scale. And Payne says they have a toy museum in Oklahoma, but he's never been there. Well, you got to take a trip, man. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, man.
And the beautiful Allison Troy, the Retro Toy Princess, is here. Greetings, Allison. And Rocco the Great was here. He said, smash that like button. Thank you, Rocco.
Thank you, Rocco. Appreciate you, brother.
And trailing at the very end here, Thanos Copter. What's up, Thanos? And I think that's it, man. We are on to the topic now.
Yeah, Brick was talking about the monsters. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Monsters.
Okay. Cool. Before we go in there, you know me.
Look at this guy. He's challenging me.
Hey, I'm going to break this one up, boys. This can't happen.
I'm going to take this guy out back, and we're going to go a couple rounds. And then we're going to go drink a couple beers. I'll drink a beer, even if he doesn't.
In the world of toys, there's a question at hand. Is bigger, better, or smaller grand? From towering ones, 6 giants tall, to sleek ones ready for all. 118's got detailed type, but can it shine in the collector's line? Hot toys flex with all the flair. Marvel legends ruling everywhere. Tiny toes with a mighty roar. Which scale is winning this collection? collector's war. Is it the detail, or is it the size? Does articulation win the prize in every pose? In every scene, which scale's the one? The ultimate dream, so grab your figures, pick your side. In ToyLeet's world, where legends collide, who takes the crown? Who tops the game? Like, subscribe, and share the name. Tune in now, the battle's begun. On ToyLeet Takeover, let's see who's won. Hot choice flex with all the flair. Marvel legends ruling everywhere. Tiny Joes with a mighty roar. Which scale is winning this collector's war? Is it the detail or is it the size? Does this articulation win the prize? In every pose, in every scene, which scale's the one? The ultimate dream. So grab your figures, pick your side. In ToyLeet's world, where legends collide, who takes the crown? Who tops the game? Like, subscribe, and share the name. Tune in now, the battle's begun. On ToyLeet Takeover, let's see who's won.
Ooh,
Hey,
there we go.
hey, before we jump into this, I got to show
Yep.
something here on the screen real quick.
Absolutely.
I'm working on a custom figure, and I got this dude. He's an Nada man, right? I want to send this head to Thanos and just see what he does for his Wednesday pictures.
I think it's going to make it to our post show.
Yep. What do you think, Thanos? You could do something interesting with that head, can't you?
Awesome.
Tell the truth. Tell a lie. Tell the truth. Tell a lie.
Yeah. So going through, the does size matter? I just want to talk about a couple things before we dive too deep in, right? So there's common scales. There's all sorts of other scales. And it's actually funny because Trust a Screamer or True Star Screamer, I got to remember how his name's really supposed to be said. He points out that, there's 1/10 just annoys me, which is good that you point that out. We're going to be focusing on the common scales. So you have your 1/6, which is essentially, it's that 12-inch tall scale. It's most popular with high-end collectors who value some extreme detail and realism. Things like Hot Toys, Sideshow collectibles, and then it even goes back as the Joes from the 60s, 70s, like real collectors of those older things. You also have your 1/12 scale, which is approximately 6 inches tall. I would put your Valaverse, your Classifieds, your WWE, Mattel figures, your Mythic Legions, like they're in even the Masterverse from Mattel. That's all that 1/12 scale figures. They're all a little off, right? But they're all 1/12 in my eyes. That's what I account for. That's your Marvel Legends, Star Wars, Black Series, things like that in the more, publicly known line, AWOC. And then you have your 1/18 scale, which is essentially a 3.75 inch tall. This is allows for smaller, more compact figures, G.I. Joe, Star Wars Vintage Collection.
And a lot of modern day are 4-inch also. A lot of modern day 1/18 scales are 4-inch.
1/18, I would say, accounts for just like the 7-inch kind of like giant, like larger size. I would put the 4-inch in that same 1/18 scale as we're talking today. Specifically the 1/6 stuff. This, Ed, and most folks following here probably familiar with it. 1960s is really where that took off with the G.I. Joes and the standard action figures. Having the realistic features and tied to military themes, right? The 1/12 scale really became prominent in the late 90s, closer to the 2000s with your Marvel Legends, combining quality, detail with affordability, right? And then the 1/18 scale, which, kind of happened in between those, was really, the late 70s with the Star Wars, and then the, G.I. Joe, in the, the 80s there with the G.I. Joe figures, right? The real American hero stuff. Each scale really has its own, history and target audience. I really do think that's the case.
Have a good night, Kyle.
There's obviously, see you later, brother. Thank you for joining in. It allows for different, the size allows for variation, whether it be, the detail, the cost, and collectability, right? The cost for net new, regardless of scale, is all pretty much the same, depending on the quality of figure you want, right?
Yes.
I mean, you want a Joy Toy figure, you can get them for 20, $30, sometimes in the 40s. You want, an independent toy line or a standard, you're somewhere between $25 and $40 for a 1/12. And then the GI Joe, the larger ones, you can, depending on the features you want, you can get them. But you even have some of the Marvel Legends that they did in the 1/6 scale with the many articulation, the Marvel Legend versus ones, and they're right around that same price point. But that price point can change depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, you talk about a Hot Toys, you're talking a couple $100, right? But
exactly,
you're talking about detail and the soft goods and
Yep.
the extras and all that.
Yep.
So
yeah. So that's kind of like just a high level overview of kind of what we're talking about. And the reason I called out that pricing and stuff, right, is because I don't really want to focus on the pricing. I want to talk about the size mattering and the best scale for a number of other reasons as collectors. Because pricing, like I said, you can find cheap or cheaper. Briscoe, if you can handle 12 inches, brother, you've got my vote.
we're clipping that.
So,
Briscoe likes a 12 inch because that's a man size.
Right. So
you don't want no fun size Snickers bar. You want some man size Snickers bar.
Exactly. No. So I wanted to call that out because as we go into this, I don't want to be focusing on the price, right? We'll talk a little bit about it as we talk about each.
Like you said,
but
really,
I don't think that can be factored in.
Yeah, nowadays price really is irrelevant. I mean, there's 1/18 scale figures out there that are $25, just like there's 1/12 scales out there that are $25. And
exactly,
if you get one of the cheaper 12-inch figures like the Batman and Marvel that they put out at the Walmart shelves, those are like $10. So it's really a matter of what the scale brings, not really about the price.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly why I wanted to cover that and kind of as a kickoff as we get into the topic.
Yeah.
That said, we're going to go right to the old school. We're going to talk 1/6. So
1/6 scale.
I'm going to call out some pros here and add on to it, Ed, right? So I have some notes here. The 1/6 features, the most lifelike faces, right? You have more real estate to be able to put some of that on. And I'm talking on the high end. I'm not necessarily talking about, the 60s Joes or anything like that, but I'm talking at its highest price point. You can get, really the most lifelike faces. You get the accessories, clothing, making them, prized possessions, high-end clothing to make them more high-end prized possessions in that sense. The larger the figures, they have an undeniable presence on the stands, on your shelves if you put them up there. The weapons, the detail in which you can get on those larger scale weapons is tremendous, right? The detailed props that they can come with, all that, it's really, it can really give you you can see it from across the room, right?
Yeah. I mean, like some of those things are so well done. Even like some of the old Joe stuff and things like that, they're museum pieces. I mean, you set that up there, it looks just like a scaled down, World War II soldier or character from Star Wars or Marvel or whatever the property happens to be. So lots of detail, lots of good stuff you can get with 1/6 scale. I was primarily a 12-inch Joe collector for 30 years, right? I mean, that's all I collected until COVID hit. Gotcha. And I mean, I had some odds and ends here and there thrown in, but primarily it was 1/6 Joe. Takes up a lot of room, but man, does it look good.
Right. Well, that's great that you covered that. It takes up a lot of room. Some of the cons, you're probably not world building. You're probably not able to world build. And you're going to have to do what you've done.
Yep.
You'd have to do what you've done here in this picture, take him out to the creek and actually use some real world, things, which, again, I'm not opposed to that life anymore. I've joined that life. I get my stuff dirty sometimes. But, from being able to world build on a shelf, it's a lot more difficult for the average person. Unless you're, and I'm going to throw a name out here, Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder of the WB, unless you're a collector like him and have millions of dollars and you've made a, ton of space and you're building a whole new house with an entire room dedicated to your toys, it's probably going to be highly unrealistic that you're going to be able to really world build the 1/6 scale.
Like I said, I've got a dial that's I use for 1/6 and 1/12. It was built originally for 1/6, and it's a tomb dial, basically one room of a tomb. And I think total it takes up like 2 foot by 2 foot by 3 foot. So I mean, that's one dial, room, right? That's big.
I mean, imagine the USS flag, right?
Right, exactly. It's
Right.
that's the size of your
in
house,
in,
man.
in 1/6, right? Exactly. That's yeah. So I mean, that's
The
the
one
point,
thing I
right?
would
Is
say
it does make it a little bit harder.
was great about, like, especially like GI Joe through the 60s, 70s, and then when they relaunched the 12-inch classic collection in the 90s, and then Ultimate Soldier was out, and you had like things like Dragon Models and Blue Box Toys and all these companies. So they were in an affordable range, $100 or less, and you could buy uniforms and gear for them, for 25, $30, depending on what you were looking for. I mean, you could take the same figure and make him into 7 different things and put him in through 7 different, situations easily enough. Whereas, like classified, Valiverse, even the 1/18 scale, one of the things we've talked about before, like if you get a figure in that size, that's not a Mezco or something high end like that has soft goods. If it's snow job, you don't want to put your snow job in the middle of an Egyptian, display, right? Because it just doesn't fit. So there's nothing you can do to
Yeah.
change that appearance to him. Whereas with the 12-inch, you can, throw
Yeah.
it around, change it up.
Well, I mean, it depends, right? Like that, the 1/6 stuff, it depends, right? The Joe stuff, yes, but some of the Mondo stuff, you're not likely going to be doing that.
Well,
right?
yeah, Mondo's
But
all
again,
plastic though too. So I mean,
Right.
that's that
Right.
takes away from that. But like people that are collecting the $300 Star Wars Jedi's that are from Hot Toys aren't changing them up very much. I mean,
right.
yeah,
They're displaying them
they
like
might be buying
statues
some
at
of
that point.
the loose bodies or something to customize with, but they're not buying the
Yeah.
actual thing and going, oh, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
I imagine that collector that's spending that money and collecting those, they're basically getting it's almost like those high-end statues, the one of 3,000 statues that are
Yeah,
really
exactly.
expensive, that have the really, they typically, it's like a comic book artist painted and designed it,
Yeah.
and then they have them signed and whatnot, numbered. But the difference is it's more articulated. You can have your own unique poses, but it's probably
Right.
going to sit up in some glass detolf where it's not really moved at all.
Yeah.
You're not playing with that or taking that in the dirt more than likely.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I would, but
that's
it's just me.
that's going to kind of cover the 1/6, right? We know they've got like great detail. They have the largest canvas for detail, but
Yes.
you take the hits too, right?
Yeah.
You might
I mean,
not
like
be able
that
to
picture
have
right
as
there,
many,
that canoe is 30 inches long. So I mean, that's just a
holy
canoe,
cow.
right?
That's as big as the Joe helicopter or
Right.
plane that they're coming out with, right? So
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. The next thing is we're gonna go to 1/18, and we're kind of going this in the time, right? Because it was 1/6, then 1/18, and then we'll get to the 1/12 after. You have the 1/18. One of the pros is you can army build like crazy. Vehicles, play sets, large scale displays. You could have the flag, right? Punk always talks about his flag, right?
Yeah.
And having one of those, I think that's like the dude who shows up with a truck that's way too big and needs everybody to know it. But that's just me. But again, you can world build and army build your 1/18th relatively easy, whether it be with the Joes or the Star Wars. Again, I'm not going to cover the pricing too much because nowadays you're paying almost the same amount depending on quality for whatever it is that you're getting. Excuse me.
Bless you.
The one thing is that there's, and again, I haven't really played with too many 1/18th other than the Joy Toy stuff and the Acid Rain stuff that I have, but they're smaller, so they're like I buy some of the generic stuff from like the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store. My son uses them in the pool sometimes. That's just because I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They don't take up space. I'm not really ultra worried about them being ruined or broken. But again, to me, the biggest pro is that world building playability. Right, you can get down. Delta 17 is a great line that just came out recently. Those, they're perfect for world building. They're bringing some additional features and things like a plane here at some point. You got the character there right in front of you.
A helicopter. They're bringing a Hind helicopter.
That's what it is. Thank you. But what you get for world building and that army building approach, you lose in the detail. The detail's not there, and that's not critical of any given 1/18th scale figures, but it's lost. That said, Joy Toy has done really good with theirs, and there's some fairly good detail on them, but it's not what you get at that 1/6.
Yeah,
and there's also
like
Haya toys.
even Delta 17, which is an O-ring scale figure, it's not on the same. It's three. Most of them are 3.75, so it's not even the same. 4-inch that Acid Rain and Joy Toy tend to be.
Right.
Compared to like the vintage, 1980s O-ring Joe, the articulation and the detail is definitely improved with modernization of the 1/18 scale, but it's still not comparatively the same as a 1/6 scale figure, right? I mean, you just can't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Some of the bigger things are, again, to me, the 1/18, when I'm talking about that, to me, this scale allows for large scale army building displays. You get your vehicles, right? That's a huge thing, right? You get your play sets. You can get all of that with that 1/18, and that makes it honestly, it makes it a great scale for parents who are involved with their kids and want to collect with their kids, because the kids are gonna love the hell out of having the additional vehicle, having the play sets, having that ability to get down and play, where you may not, you're likely not seeing that at that 1/6 scale.
I'd say one of the other good things about
about
the 1/18 scale, right, is not price point of the actual figures themselves, but even back in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid, you could get a bunch of vehicles for a relatively decent price, whereas 1/6 scale vehicles, are not the same type of price point, right? I mean, and you can have a lot of them. I had, tons of Fisher Price Adventure People vehicles, which are all 1/18 scale. And then Star Wars came out. I had a ton of those, Star Wars vehicles. And then, G.I. Joe happened, and it was, same thing with that. It was like, and like you said, the other nice thing is you can go to the dollar store nowadays. You can go to, the cheap aisle at the Walmart and buy cheap things to go into those world building things to, like even some of the like Kid Connection at Walmart, right?
Yep.
They have real cheap 1/18 figures that make great background characters, but they have play sets that you can, customize and, make look decent. So
absolutely. So to me, 1/18 wins on that world building side, right? So if I was to take away the biggest pro for them is the world building, the biggest negative is the level of detail in which you're traditionally going to get at that 1/18 scale. Again, like there's some great like Haya toys. Is that the right brand? Am I using the right name?
Haya Toys making the G.I. Joes now.
Yeah, they look tremendous. They look just like the classified ones. It looks like they just reprinted them at a smaller scale. So they've done a great job with that.
Yeah, it's basically what they did.
So again, some really cool stuff at the 1/18, and it gets you that world building, ability. So that's kind of where I would leave the 1/6 or the 1/18.
Yeah,
and that brings us to, let's be honest, at least in my opinion, and I think the majority of people in the toy collecting community, in a lot of ways, the leader of the pack right now, right? It's 1/12. I mean, it's what's on.
I would say they are definitely the leader of the pack at this point in time. Yes.
Today, I'm not saying that others aren't coming up, and there's not like a resurgence.
It doesn't make it best, but it does make it the most popular at this point in time.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, this is. I mean, most of the Kickstarters, most of the news that we're updating on is in that 1/12 scale stuff.
Yep.
I think most everything we've had on the, ToyLeet or ToyLeet has been 1/12 scale. One of the big things about this again is that like to me, this gets you kind of that. It gets you the same. It gets you the articulation, the durability. It gets you the detail, and it gives you the ability to world build. You might not world build as large as you can with the 1/18, but you can world build. I mean, we've seen it with a lot of the things that Ramen's coming out with, Valaverse, Classified, right? They're coming out with world building features and things like that. Not at the same level that you get at 1/18, but you get a ton of stuff, right? And to me, the deciding factor here is that, as we've talked, is that when I'm comparing them to the 1/6 or the 1/18, it really is like the perfect spot, right? Because 1/18 on a shelf is for me, it's hard to appreciate that art without getting up close and holding it and seeing it. 1/6, I don't have anything other than a couple Marvel Legends. They look really cool. I love how you can see the detail in the pants and you can see it from even further across the room, but it takes up so much space. The 1/12, I can set it on my shelf. I can bring it in a bag. I can take it outside, and it looks good pretty much with any reasonable distance.
Yeah,
And
that was one
you
of the
can
reasons
fit
I
enough of
really
them on the shelf.
transitioned to 1/12 scale. I mean, I still have some. I have quite a bit of my 1/6 scale stuff, and still collect it when I see something nice. But
Yeah.
with the 1/12 scale, I could throw 4 or 5 figures in a bag, throw a horse in a bag that's 1/12 scale, motorcycle, whatever, in a backpack, and hit the trail. 1/6, you know, 2 figures in that. I can't even put the canoe in my backpack because the top still sticks out. You know, right? So I mean, it's like, you know, I do take that, but if I was to take a, you know, like Jeff from Skunk Works, he does a lot of outdoor shots, and you know, a couple of the other guys that I know, they use wagons. I mean, they got to take, you know, their vehicles with their figures in a wagon, so you're limited to where you can go unless you're taking, you know, 1 or 2 figures in the small accessory. I mean, it's just
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
like you were saying, right, the shelf presence of the 1/12 scale figures compared to a 1/18 is, you know, predominantly better. I mean, like all my figures, when I look at my toy shelf, my 1/18 Eagle Force and Delta 17 are kind of mixed in, and they kind of get washed out in the 1/12 scale that you can see individually. And then if somebody would release a stand where I could kind of put them on risers, you know, and see the things in the back, it'd, you know, be a lot better. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, somebody's gotta come up with something at some point that would solve for that.
right?
I mean,
I know.
I would hope. Yeah, I mean, that's really where the 1/12 scale started, you know. To me, you know, and I'll get there in a second, but I do want to cover that. But you know, like I said, while you get a little less detail from the 1/12 than you may get for some of those higher end 1/6 stuff, I think the balance you get for displayability off the, you know, seeing from the shelf, playability, articulation, I really think it gives you kind of the good and evil of both of, you know, it really gives you the best of all worlds, in my opinion, at this point.
And I mean, realistically, some of the stuff Mezco and some of these, you know, third party figures that are coming with soft goods in 1/12 scale are damn near close to just as detailed as, you know, some of these 1/6 scale companies make.
Absolutely. And, you know, all of them, you know, they all have decent articulation at this point. Like, I can't even debate it, right? Like, you know, I have the 1/6 scale, like Iron Man and Captain America, and they have the same articulation as the Marvel Legends, or darn near close to every point of articulation that they had. They're a little bit older, so they still have pins and things like that. They're not exactly where they would be in 2024, but they're also 10 plus years old, I think. You know, the 1/12 scale, you know, again, has that articulation, the playability, you know, it's all there. You know, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't say any one of these doesn't have that. I think it really comes to how you want to display. And are you a world builder? Are you wanting vehicles, things like that? I think that helps you decide which size you may want to focus on. You and I talked, Ed. I was 1/12 all the way. And going back to what Joe mentioned is that, you know, the Toy Biz for Marvel Legends is what got him into it. That's what my son got into when he was young, and my brother was trying to just get him toys when he was like 3 years old, and kind of moving away from like some of the like baby younger kid stuff and trying to get him into action figures. And then I came across all the Jakks, you know, and the Mattel figures, and got really heavy into those for the WWE because they had them to scale. Right, like my tall guys were tall, my little guys were little, the bigger guys that were heavier, all that stuff, and they were all in that 1/12 scale. To me, it was like that was heaven. So that pulled me back in to collecting toys, because other than that, I had kind of moved away from anything other than the occasional kind of like McFarlane movie, you know, screen character or Ozzy, some collectible type, more of a statue approach. But because I love the scale that they came out with those Mattel and things, and it pulled me in. So, you know, again, articulation on all three of these are relatively the same, you know, depending on how much you spend, right? And, you know, the detail can in some degrees, you know, improve it and, you know, make it, you know, there. The accessories, I think we covered that, right? You know, even 1/12 scale has some really good accessories. Even the 1/18 Joy Toy, some of those higher end, you know, 1/18 have some really good detail on the accessories. the customization, 3D printing has made it so that you can customize on all of these. So it's not really, to me, it's not about our accessories, articulation, or even price. To me, it comes down to, do you play? Do you collect in mass? Because I think if I was a 1/6 scale collector, I think I would personally collect a lot less. I'd probably spend a bit more to get larger pieces, to collect a lot less because I'd run out of space a lot faster.
Yeah.
And like, I have a ton of totes over here that I need to get on the shelves when somebody comes out with a cool stand that we can put it on and display the rest of my shelves here.
Well, like me, I have a 1/6 scale Adventure Team headquarters building, right? A helicopter, mobile headquarters unit, and another vehicle. And just those 4 vehicles with each having 1 figure in them, that takes up like a foldable, 5.5 foot by 3 foot table. I mean, that's, four things and the table's gone, right? It's like with 1/12 scale, you can kind of get the same amount of detail and look, but you can have that 5 foot table be an entire, play area or diorama or whatever it is, right? It's like,
agreed. And I mean, it goes beyond even the diorama. It goes back to, I have all of these Joes in 1/12. I can fit them in totes and tubs if I don't want to use them for a display or a photography shoot. And it only takes up maybe like a 36 by 36 inch square in my office because I have them in this, these toolbox totes that I have, and I can store them in that way. So the question is, does size matter? Does it matter? Is there which is the best scale, right? I don't think that you can say there's a best scale for any. It's an opinion, right? Like, there's no best scale because it depends on what you're looking for.
What works for you and what your main purpose of collecting is, right? Like Fat Red Fu, he's a 1/18 for life guy, right? And he's building his Numa City diorama, which is amazing. And it's big enough for him to have several buildings in this little, downtown, post-apocalyptic, steampunk look to it. And it's good stuff, man. And that's what he wants to do, right? And building in that scale makes it easy because he can find accessories and little household junk that he can turn into something that works.
Pill bottles, random things. I got tons of pill bottles. You need them, Fat Red. I got hundreds of them. So but yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. So I'm going to throw this out to the chat before I go into a couple other items. I want to hear from the group. I think we got a handful of folks, quite a few. We got a decent amount of folks still in the chat. What scale do you collect and why?
All right.
Which
While
one?
we're doing that, let's run through the chat while we let them pop in. So Adam is asking any update on the ToyLeet bowl.
What is the ToyLeet bowl? I missed this.
That's the coffee mug shaped like a toilet. We got to get ToyLeet and put into our merch store.
I like that.
Yeah, I found one.
That's
so we just got to
cool.
get it made. We got to get the merch store set up finally and get it going. So we got to do that.
I like that. That's a cool thing. I started that because I didn't know where that was coming from. I was like, what did I miss last week? Did somebody set up like a Super Bowl of toys?
That was from a month or two ago, actually.
Totally missed it.
Trust a Screamer, True Star Screamer, whatever he wants to be called. 1/12 scale is 1/12 is the scale of those who care. Okay. 1/10 scale just annoys me. The problem with the 1/10 is it just throws it off a little bit. But if you collect all 1/10, then it's golden, right?
Yeah, I mean, if that's all
is the best scale. Harry says that his wife says it's a good size. I'm not sure if he's talking about 3 3/4 inch, 6 inch, or 12 inch. So
I don't know Harry that well, but I thought I saw him post a little bit later. It was the 132 scale. And that might be the case. I don't know. No. Yes. I kid, Harry. I kid.
So he's a tabletop game player scale. That's what his wife likes.
That's what I've heard.
All
tabletop.
Right.
It's all about the table. That's what she said.
And Thanos says he's sure he could fit that head into a good picture. I'm going to send it to you, Thanos, once I get my custom head figured out. And Wilhelm says each scale has its strengths, and ultimately it comes down to what your favorite is. Yep. Collect what you like and support your friends with what they like. Absolutely. Well,
absolutely. That's where
wonderful thing to say after all the toxicity we've seen in the community over the last couple weeks.
Yeah. I can't believe the way you opened the show crapping all over Aaron.
Well, Aaron's a dirtbag, man. I don't like that guy. Him and his bald head. He just every time he comes on screen, I get blinded, man. It's like his breath is so bad it makes my camera fog up.
Payne, I might need a new co-host, man. So let me know what's going on, dude. I can't take this crap from that.
Ario says 1/12 is best for pictures. I think 1/6 scale really takes excellent pictures. It's hard to get a bunch of pictures, a bunch of figures into the same picture. So there are definitely some benefits to 1/12 scale as far as photography goes.
Yeah, I thought that too.
This sums it up right
before
here.
Before we go to that, I thought that too, right? Is the 1/12 lets you do more, but some of the photos I've seen you post, Ed, and like even that one in the raft there or the canoe, like that looks really good.
Yeah,
with the environment you're using. So
I showed some pictures to a friend one time a couple years back of some of my 1/6 scale pictures, and he was literally trying to find me in the picture because he thought they were from when I was in the army.
That's awesome.
So I was like, no, those are toys, dude. And he's like, oh my God, those are awesome. So not to blow my own horn, but they were pretty damn good. So, and this is perfect, right? The best scale is the scale that you collect. Good night. Mic drop, add them out. And
Absolutely.
Brick wants to know you're not talking about his 1/1 dolls, are you?
No, I'm waiting for AI to come around with that.
He was in Japan recently, so I mean, they got all that stuff over there, right? So never know what he came home with. And Wilhelm, yes, 1/6 scale looks amazing in outdoor shots, absolutely, because you can definitely, it's easier to get that scale, to trying to think of the word, but I can't think of the technique.
Just kind of in frame, right?
Yeah. He likes his statues articulated, Nolan says. And Thanos says he picked up a couple of posed action figures today. Okay. And Trust the Screamer, even 1/12 scale is fluid. Yeah. I think a lot of the scales are fluid nowadays. I mean, you get 1/6 scale that varies between, 11 inches to 13 inches. And then you got
gotcha.
1/12 is like 6 to 7, and 1/18 is now 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 to 4. So they've kind of fluided all of the scales out there. And we got the awesome Mython the Python's up in the house. What's up, Mython?
Hey, Mython. Hey, brother. Thank you for joining.
And yes, Fat Red, we know you're 1/18 for life. We know.
Yep. And then this one right here. Absolutely.
I've never had a lady complain about running her fingers through my hair.
So I'm gonna kind of close this topic up, right? And I'm gonna leave it at this. I think Highly Articulated and a number of other folks kind of said it's what you collect. Does size matter? I think it does. It matters based on what you want to do with your collection. Do you want it to sit on the shelf, one off here and there, Mondo $300+ figures to get really cool looks? Go for it. Do you want a world build? How much do you want to world build? I had this conflict right when I started messing around with the Joy Toy stuff. Do I want to get into that crazy world building like that? Or do I let Ed convince me to take my stuff outside and allow myself to world build with my 1/12 stuff and really get that? Me, size mattered. I went with 1/12. I shifted away from the Joy Toy. I still have a few of them, but I shifted away from it, not because they were an inferior product or anything like that, but because I can get a wide range of the style of characters and what I want to collect at 1/12. And I think that's the win that 1/12 has right now. It has a balance of the 1/6 and the 1/18, and 1/12 has not only the articulation, the detail, the accessories, but it also has the wide range of what would be universes, right? You have your sci-fi, you have your military, you have your wrestling, you have name it, right? Like there's something out, plunderlings, right? Like random stuff, right? So like 1/12 to me, that's like the line to go with. But for what I want, if you're 1/18 like Fat Red and you want to world build the hell out of it, stick with 1/18 because it's gonna be a lot easier and space constraints. So go for it. That's the way I look at it. So
I will say this as a guy who's got figures of pretty much every scale there is out there right now. If you can stay true to one scale, it makes your life so much easier.
yeah, for sure.
Because there's enough rabbit holes to go down in one scale, let alone going down multiple scales in multiple rabbit holes.
100%.
I'm just going to throw that word of advice out there.
I only went into 2 scales. Well, I went into all sorts of lines. Then I went into 2 scales of whatever I decided, and now I'm at this point of where I'm recoiling a little bit and trying to kind of focus in on my favorites and my focus, right? So definitely stick to one line if you can. It's gonna make your life a hell of a lot easier for sure. That said, does it matter? Does size matter? I mean, yeah, if that's what you want, but go for it. Bringing us to the end, next week's show, toy photography, a new artistic expression. Got a special guest joining us next week. Emerald Knight photos, at least one. Yep. We have reached out to others. Hopefully they can join. They've got some things going on. They haven't been able to commit to it, but we have at least one guest where we'll be talking to them about toy photography and how, that's a new artistic expression, how it's picked up steam, how they got into it, kind of dig into what they did. And then there's this little icon that kind of been floating around throughout the stream, Toyvember. So in conjunction with the toy photography interview with John over there at Emerald, sorry, brain moment there.
Emerald Knight.
Thank you. I couldn't think of his full name. I know I said it a minute ago, but I couldn't remember it. So yeah, Emerald Knight there with his him coming on Emerald Knight Photos. He'll talk to us. We'll ask him some questions. We'll focus in on kind of how, the why, the what, tips, things like that. So if you're into toy photography, I will highly suggest tuning in next week. It could be our biggest show. I really think it has the potential to be, especially with that key thing right there, Toyvember. That is going to be a big thing that we're going to talk about next week. Very excited for it. We'll be announcing some things around there.
Good stuff coming.
I mean, for those that are interested, it's a contest. You have a chance to win stuff. So check out next week. Toyvember is going to be big. We're going to have Emerald Knight on helping us announce that and going through some things. So not only can you get some tips and tricks, but then you can find out a little bit about Toyvember, which will be picking up steam over the course of the next few months. Ed, before we bounce from the stream. Oh yes, those were good, man. I loved your
That was all inspired by you, brother.
I told you I loved the Conan stuff that you were doing, and I saw you use that that tunnel, the transfer tunnel thing that we like, the thing that we originally started talking about, right? That kind of like portal there. Yeah, the Stargate, the portal. Yeah. Yep. That was kind of like between that and the throne. It's kind of like where our whole conversations began.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Yep. So check out next week. Before that though, Ed, what do you got going on this week?
Oh, I got lots of stuff going on. Tomorrow's my night off of YouTube, so I will be absent because Thursday I'll be on modding for Punk with Toys, as he has Thursday with a friend with Pop Blender on. And then Friday night I'll be modding in Radnom stream at about 11 to 11:30 Eastern time, where we do the craft and chill, where Radnom builds us amazing stuff and we all watch and drool. And that's a great chat to get into because everybody's chill and we all just kind of help each other, give out each other's pointers. And, last week we had a nice conversation about 1980s cereal and candy from the 80s that we should all be dead from eating too much of, but we survived. So the chat kind of goes all over the place while Radnom builds, his magic. And then
I think I swung in for a minute last week.
Yes, you did.
I jumped in. Yeah.
And then Saturday night, of course, we'll be on Ostradamus Toys on the Clubhouse, hanging out for several hours. And, we got a whole herd of people that come through that show. And Sunday night, Hella Dope. Come in and watch Hella Dope on Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, because What the hell is his name? Legend Series. That's the guy. Legend Series will be on. He's going to come in and invade the Hella Dope program, as he likes to say, because he's from New York, so he says program instead of program. But that'll be a really good show. Lots of fun coming out there. And then Monday night, I'll be on with Punk modding for him again, doing his Monday night ramblings. And next Tuesday, I'll be back here with you and John, and hopefully another guest if possible.
Yeah.
What about you, brother?
I can get in touch with
your inner child, or
Aaron over at Hella Dope. We got to get together. We got that Bad Blood pay-per-view coming up, so we got to get the 1-2 kick out thing going. It's been hectic, and I know he's been pretty busy, so we have not been in sync with that stream.
I think Saturday morning I'm gonna get Payne on a live, and him and I are gonna have some go-arounds.
You guys are gonna fight it out?
Yeah, we might need an actual moderator for that. So you up for that?
Okay. Oh, Saturday I might be out doing disc golf. It all depends. My daughter's making a trip into the city.
I don't because I can make him feel bad all on my own.
I'm gonna send him the dirt on you so he can drop it like mom. I'm gonna have him put you out on blast for sure.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah,
I got plenty of skeletons in my closet. It's not that hard.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything specific. I'll be, tying some stuff up. You'll see some things coming from me here. The ball are rolling. All of the legal stuff is out of the way, as I told you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we are rocking and rolling. I'm looking for conventions later this year, early next year. One of the conventions I was going to be a part of got canceled. They pivoted in their approach. So unfortunately, I'm SOL on that. So,
you should check into that Nickel City Con in Buffalo again, dude. They're doing a Nickel City 2 in November.
Oh, I'll have to take a look at that one. I think I saw that recently, but right now the big one on my radar is that ZoloCon up in March. So that's the one that's on my radar, and I'm targeting. I got a big circle bullseye pointed at it right now. So that is my goal.
I mean, I haven't had a table at that con for a couple of years now, but back when I did have a table there, it was only like $500 for a booth. So, I mean,
it's relatively inexpensive.
And I got a 3-bedroom house with, and I live alone. So I mean, if you needed a place to stay, it's 40-minute drive from here to the convention.
Oh, good deal. That's good to know. That's good to know, brother. Absolutely. So yeah, other than that, I don't have anything on my end. I do want to say a special thank you to everyone in the chat who stuck around, listened to the topic, and then again, check out next week. Great opportunity to be a part of something we hope is going to be big. So opportunity to win some stuff. But I always leave it with this. Till next week, stay wonderful.
Later.
Toys on the desk, it's the new habitat. ToyLeet Takeover, we're loving that. It's a step high in the air where it's at. Everywhere's a playground for Mr. Wonderful. In the office, living room, let them breathe. Action Figs hit the trail through the mud and under sail. It's the ToyLeet life. Beyond the shelf we prepare. Figures and cents, perfect place with Texas stats, we own the space. From battle seeds to epic quests, our collection's always at its best.